And welcome to today's live Ielts class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you live from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that everybody is having a good weekend so far. Students, in this class we are looking at Ielts Speaking Part 2. This is the cue card part of the speaking section, which means that for this part of your speaking interview, the oral part of the exam, you will get some questions shown to you in a booklet or on the screen in the computer-based exam, and you will have 1 minute to read the questions, prepare your answers, and then you have 1 to 2 minutes to respond. And this card, we're looking at talking about a creative person that you know. The cue card is about usually either a person or a place or event, idea, or some type of object. So 5 kinds of categories that you can get for the cue card. And I will give you clear strategies today for talking about a person and how to do this effectively in the 1 to 2 minute time. This is a members chat class, so you do need to be a member to join the chat in this class. But we will have an all chat class coming up after this one for Speaking Part 3. This lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. We use our websites regularly for our live classes. We will use them today as well. This is our academic IELTS website here. You can click this big red button that's just right up above my head there to join our premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. This is basically like our textbook, our materials for these live classes. So if you enjoy these live classes, definitely a good idea to get these materials so that you can follow along, you can do homework, you can do more study. We are an official IELTS IDP affiliate, British Council partner, test registration center. I'm a certified British Council agent and we help hundreds of students, thousands of students every single day. Welcome Nancy, welcome Umra, nice to see our members joining in now. That's fantastic. Students, when you join our website, you can use our code TARGET9 to get a 20% discount. So again, it's a one-time payment, doesn't cost a lot, and here's a bit of a deal for you. It's even better. Use the code TARGET9 and you're good to go. For the general IELTS, it's the green background. Again, click this big red button that's just right above my head there. To join the premium package, you will see that we will use the website today to speak with some of our students. So it's definitely a good idea to get an account. And also download and link the apps. Link the app Academic IELTS Help to aehelp.com. Link the app General IELTS Help to gieltshelp.com. Follow us on Instagram, IELTS_AEHelp for schedules, vocabulary tips. GIELTS Help, that's for General IELTS Instagram. Follow us there for tips, strategies, vocabulary, schedules, much more. Students, if you have questions, worry not. We are here to help. You can send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. That's my email address. Send me an email. Ask me whatever you'd like about the IELTS exam, about English, communication, applications, and we will give you answers. All right, Baljit, Sanjay. Good to see you in the class. I'm doing fantastic. I hope all of you are doing great. Also, nice to have you on board. Students, lots more live streaming coming up as we're heading into the 2022-2023 school year. I know that a lot of people are looking to practice IELTS. September is kind of IELTS month for people around the world. So we've got a lot of classes coming up. After this class right now, we will have speaking part 3. And then after a short break, 28th, 29th, 30th, I'm back again on Wednesday this time with some reading for everyone. And then we'll have speaking on Thursday, and then more classes on Friday and Saturday. So I'm putting in an extra class each week right now, since it is IELTS month, to give you more practice. So subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, make sure that you get notified of our schedule and our live classes so that you can join, and you can also get notifications for our HD releases. We just released this video here. I'm putting it into the chat. It's a great video to practice your speaking, including part 2. Okay. Amra says, I'm fit as a fiddle. How about you, Sanjay? All right. Okay, students, let's get into IELTS speaking part 2. So the IELTS speaking interview, you've got 3 parts. Part 1, there'll be questions about you. Part 2 will be questions on a specific topic on a card like this one. Okay, so let's check this out. IELTS speaking part 2. Talk about a creative person whom you know. Okay, so it's not just any person, but it's somebody that you know. Who is this person? What kind of art or activity does the person do? Why do you think they are creative? Okay, what have they created in the past, and what do you think they will do in the future? You will have 1 to 2 minutes to talk about this topic, and you will have 1 minute to prepare what you are going to say. All right, students, so again, a lot of you are starting to become familiar with the step-by-step strategies as you're learning from me. So again, you make sure to read this question carefully. The first step to getting a good score in your speaking section and on part 2 is to make sure that you give an accurate answer. Okay, so talk about a creative person whom you know. Who is this person? What kind of art or activity does the person do? Why do you think they are creative? What have they created in the past, and what do you think they will do in the future? So read it twice if you have to. All right, now here we're talking about a person, right? Baljit, Sanjay, Amra, Nancy, when you talk about a person, Rajveer, good to have you in the class. When you talk about a person, what do you need to include in your discussion so that you make sense and that you're clear for your audience, your listener? Okay, when talking about a person, if you do this, you will do okay. It's just a lot of people forget to do this. Amra says, talk about the appearance. Yes, absolutely. So the appearance, what they look like. Baljit says a personality and actions. Yeah. And then personality. Why do we talk about appearance? Okay, so this might be a little bit of a review for some of you, but it's very important to know this. So talk about the appearance, not much, maybe like 15 seconds. Okay, don't overdo it. So just a little bit about the appearance. Why do we do that? Yeah, exactly. Sanjay says, so the examiner can imagine the person. Now, we actually have a saying in English for this, or an expression. So the examiner can put a face to the person. Repeat after me. Anytime you hear new English, new vocabulary, new expressions, make sure to speak and repeat. Okay, so copy what I say, copy how I say it, write it down into a document or in your phone or even on a piece of paper, just so you remember this. So remember this one, put a face to someone, put a face to a person, okay? And we have that expression in English. So when you describe someone, the way they look like, you show a picture of someone, and unfortunately in IELTS you can't do that. So you have to verbally describe them, then we can put a face to the person, okay? Notice the preposition in this interesting expression. It's you put the face to the person. So we talk about the appearance so that you can put a face to the person. All right, Amra says, already jotted. Nice. Amra, you're also telling me that you learned the word jot down or jotted. Very good. Good for you, Amra, and you're using the vocabulary. Lovely. Smart, smart. Okay, personality backed by actions. One of the most common kinds of mistakes that people make in the IELTS when they talk about a person, in part 2, is listing lots of personality with no actions. So I hear this often where a candidate will say something like, my friend John is very creative. He is smart and very kind. He is a hard worker, and he is very helpful. Okay. What does that mean? Okay. So, yeah, okay, he's smart, he's kind, he's a hard worker, he's very helpful. These words are very subjective. Okay, so remember this, all right? Words like smart and helpful, okay, these qualifying words are very subjective and have little meaning without actions, okay? So my friend John is very creative. Every day he is drawing amazing pictures of people and places. Okay, now we start to get an idea of John's creativity. Okay, so this would be an example of personality backed up by action. He is also very helpful. Whenever I'm stuck for ideas in my graphic design class, he helps me out by drawing a rough outline of the project. Okay, now I understand how John is helpful. So this is much better, okay? This is the personality or the characteristic backed up by action. All right, So most common mistake when people talk about part 2 is they just start listing characteristics and not really giving any action to prove those characteristics. Nancy says, got it. Okay, good. I'm sure Baljit, Rajveer, and Amra got it. Sanjay, got it. I'm pretty sure might have heard me say this before. So this is very, very important in part 2 to always think about personality backed up by actions. And when you're taking your notes in your 1 minute preparation time, this is what you should focus on. So when you are taking notes in your 1 minute preparation time, always pair your characteristics or personality with the action. Okay, so that's what you want to do. All right, lots of thumbs up there. That is fantastic. Yeah, great. Okay, so now the other very important step in part 2 is to think of at least a couple ideas. Okay, so think of at least 2 to 3 possible choices for your part 2 speech before you start notes. Okay, so I thought about my friend John. John is creative. That's fantastic. Great. But you know, it's good to think of at least a couple people. So for me, let's say friend John, graphic designer. Okay, and then I think of a couple other people. So my brother Mario, who's a web designer. Okay, designs websites, has to be very creative. Actually true, I have a brother named Mario who is not only a web designer, but just a brilliant software engineer, database engineer, and he can design amazing websites. So he would be a very good choice for me for this question. Okay, so also I have a 6-year-old daughter who's very creative. Sabella, and she's very creative, 6-year-old. She's always coming up with interesting ways to express her creativity through art and language. So I've got a couple of people that I can talk about. How about you? Give me some ideas. So Rajveer, Sanjay, Amra, Baljit. Okay. Rajveer says, friend Paras, a party organizer. Rajveer, good, but it's not a party organizer. Do you know what the person's job is called? Okay. So Rajveer says that Rajveer has a friend named Paras, and it's not a party organizer. Yes, Rajveer, that's right. It's an event organizer and an event planner. Okay, good. Yeah, make sure that you always have the right English. If you're not sure about it, think really carefully, because you don't want to talk for 1 to 2 minutes about a person who is doing a certain kind of job and then not have the right job. Okay. All right, Sunantha, who is this professor of art? Always be specific. So, art professor. Okay. Art professor, sure. And who is it, Sunantha? So what's their name? Right? Baljit, Lovedeep, does paintings, is an artist. Okay. Artist, painter. Okay, Baljit says, Randy, professional portrait designer. So you mean photographer? All right, yeah. Rajveer says, Smith, mathematics teacher. Sure. All right, so good. You've got ideas flowing. That's the way that you want to be. You want the ideas to flow. All right. So lots of fantastic ideas. Nancy, very good. Taranum, dancer. Yeah, so there are a lot of different professions and activities which require creativity in music as well, right? So singer-songwriter, for example. So very good. Taranum, dancer. All right, so keep these in mind because you will have a chance to volunteer and speak with me soon. And you can choose one of these people to talk about. For right now, let's just take one. So we'll take the first one that popped up in the chat. It was Rajveer's suggestion, the friend Paras, an event planner. Okay, sure. So now make sure that when you decide, so choose the answer or the person in this case that you feel you can easily talk about for that 120 seconds. Okay. So for example, talking about a math teacher who's creative or talking about a photographer could be tricky if you don't have vocabulary about photography and math, okay? Because of course, for those two individuals, there's a very good chance that you will have to talk about how that person is creative in the field of mathematics. And if you don't know words like equations, for example, then it might be somewhat challenging. Or if you don't know something like set design for photography, it could be challenging. So be careful, okay? All right. So make sure that you choose the answer that you feel you can talk about easily, okay? In this case, it should be original. All right, and then you want to take some useful notes. Okay, so for useful notes, first of all, the appearance. Okay, and again, remember what I said, that for the appearance, you don't need to say a lot, just a little bit, okay? Just a little bit to give the examiner a little bit of an idea of what this individual looks like. So again, let's choose Paras, the event organizer or event planner. Event planner is more common. It's more common to say event planner, but organizer is okay as well. Okay. So useful notes, appearance. What does Paras look like? Average height, 180 cm. Build, dark hair, friendly smile. Professional dress. Okay, that's all I would write down for my notes. Something just very quickly about his appearance. Okay, give me some words, members. I don't want you to feel like I'm the only one coming up with the imagery here. So yeah, Rajveer says 5'6", curly black hair, 27 years old. Sure. All right, using short form whenever I can. Yeah. Okay, so that's the appearance. All right. So when you're thinking about your response and you're thinking about the personality backed up by action, right? Ooh, these symbols. Okay, personality by action. Make sure, it's very important to relate this to the cue card. So don't start, by saying he's a very kind person. Okay, how does that, you have to think about creativity. Okay. So related to the cue card. And so when you're thinking about the event planner, think about what an event planner does. So what and why. So why is an event planner creative? What do they do? So think what, why, how. Okay. Okay. So what does an event planner do? And be specific. So answer this question for me, members. What does an event planner do? And please don't say plans events. Okay. You want to be specific. Always be more and more detailed. Okay. What kind of events do they plan? Okay. So again, critical thinking has to be used in all parts of the IELTS exam. Okay. Part 2 of the speaking section is one of the most crucial places in the IELTS exam to use critical thinking. Okay. Yeah, Baljeet, more details. Okay, more details. Wanted to say it plans events. What kind of events? So what does an event planner do? Okay. Give me as much information. There's no wrong answer here. There's maybe just better answers. Okay, so plans special events such as parties, such as weddings, anniversaries. Okay, very good. Yeah, so Nancy says birthday parties, weddings. Yep. And birthdays. Okay. Okay, so by organizing places and professionals, right? So an event planner figures out where the party should be, figures out who should be there, musicians, dancers, so on, right? Okay. Why? So why does an event planner do this? So what's the goal here? Okay, always pushing you to think critically. Good critical thinking will lead to good band scores, all right? And when you're planning your answer in your 1 minute preparation time, you really need to think critically. I usually kind of skip talking about this step, but today this is one of the focus areas of the lesson, is to emphasize for you that during your planning, especially when you decided on your answer and when you're taking your notes, to think critically, okay? So what is this person? What does this person do? Why does the, yeah, exactly. So Rajveer says to make sure the event is memorable and everybody enjoys it. Yeah, to make sure the event is enjoyable, successful, and memorable, and maybe unique in some way, right? So how does the event planner do this? Okay. So how does the event planner make sure that the event is enjoyable, it's successful, and it's memorable? Okay. by making the experience unique, paying attention to the needs of the guests, coming up with creative decorations and activities for the attendees. Okay. Now here, you should visualize, right? So you should visualize a wedding, for example. Okay. Make sure to picture, visualize an event to help you with your ideas, such as what was his name? Our friend Paras. Such as Paras organizing a wedding, or my cousin's wedding last year. Okay, so be specific. Picture it. All right. Okay, so good. That's what you want to do. Think about the what, why, how, and then you can come up with much better ideas to answer these questions in a much clearer way, give a much more structured answer. Okay. Yeah, Rajveer says, get the requirement from the customers and come up with creative ideas. Do the necessary bookings to ensure the successful completion of the event from start to finish. Exactly. Okay. So now let's, you're going to notice where this is all going. So now, if we go to the notes here, right, then we can give a personality backed up by action. So I'm going to start off here. So I'm going to say he's a hard worker. A lot of people like saying that. It's loosely connected to being creative. Plans and organizes at least 2 to 3 events each week. Birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, and corporate events. Okay, so now I wouldn't write full sentences for my notes in the real IELTS exam like this, but I would just write down 2-3 events per week. Okay, and then I can list the rest. Hard worker, 2-3 events per week. Okay, so my notes here would actually look like this. Okay, hard worker, 3 events per week. So personality backed up by action. Okay, members, give me personality backed up by action. Personality backed up by action. That's how we can build out the response here. Okay. All right, so I want you to give me personality backed up action. Think about the topic, creative person. Okay, and don't overdo it. It doesn't have to be the perfect idea. Once you get 1 or 2 ideas going, they'll start to flow and they will get better and better. Okay, Nancy, very good. So creative, theme-based parties. Yeah, so Western style, Disney, aquatic, okay, sure. So those are a couple themes that come to mind. You might have some themes coming to mind as well. So Nancy, I think you're on to something there with theme-based parties. Come up with a couple of different themes that Paras has maybe done, like a Disney party for somebody's a child's birthday, or an aquatic party for a wedding where everybody is dressed like mermaids and mermen. Okay. Rajveer says, good listener. Okay. Meets requirements. Sure. Now keep thinking of creative, right? Optimist. Cup is half full. Okay, let's use an idiom for that one, Amra. Okay, Nancy, very good. Popular. That could support the idea that he's creative, right? So a lot of his previous clients give him 5 stars in reviews saying that he has amazing ideas for parties and everybody always has a great time. He's very creative, right? So 5 out of 5 on reviews. Yeah. Okay, keep thinking of creative here as well. Okay, I would say problem solver. All right, so every event successful. Bad weather. Okay, I have an idea with that, how he's able to change the situation if it starts raining. Okay, all right, very good. Yeah, smart guy, street smart. Rodriguez says comes up with ideas. Organized. Dancers, musicians, okay, caterers. Okay, we have to talk about his creativity. So what is his creative ability, right? All right. Okay, students, so we're on the right path here, and it's good to think of an example, like I said, to visualize his creativity, like the wedding, and then you want to have your first sentence ready. That's your next step. So after you're done your notes, make sure that you prepare your first sentence before your 1-minute preparation time is up, okay? So you can't write too many notes, but you can write some that will help you to be fluent. When you get stuck, look at your notes, okay? Make sure to have your first sentence ready before the examiner starts your speaking time so that you can begin quickly, fluently, while answering the question accurately. Okay, let me show you what I mean. So here we go back to the original question. The original question is talk about a creative person who you know. Okay, your first sentence when the examiner says, okay, your preparation time is up, please begin speaking, then your first sentence must answer that question. Okay, so it must begin something like this. A very creative person that I know is my friend Paras, who works as an event planner. All right, and then that is my first sentence, okay? All right, so then after I have my first sentence, I just start building out my response based on appearance and then personality and action, personality an action while looking at the cue card. So let's do this together this time, members. So give me your sentences and just give your additional sentences, okay? Rajveer says, a very creative individual whom I got the opportunity to know is my close friend Paras. He is an event planner. Very good, Rajveer. Okay, give me the next sentence. Lamia, good to see you in the class joining in as well. Give me the next sentence. So what do I write after this? Okay, more sentences. All right. He is 27 years old, of average height and build. He has curly black hair and a friendly smile. He always dresses well, whether for work or pleasure. Okay. Right? 15 seconds. Remember what I said. Quick, clear, just give a picture of what he looks like, right? So a very creative person that I know is my friend Paras, who works as an event planner. He is 27 years old, of average height and build. He has curly black hair and a friendly smile. He always dresses well, whether for work or pleasure. Okay, Rajveer writes, he is 27 years old, 5'6", with medium build, has curly black hair and a big friendly smile on his face. Baljit says, Paras, my friend, is loaded with creativity. Fully loaded is a bit awkward, Baljit, but loaded with creativity is okay. Amra says, a very creative person who I have known for the past 4 years is my friend Paras, who works as an event planner. He is 19 years old, 175 centimeter tall, and has curly brown hair. Good. 19's pretty young, Amra, for an event planner, but sure, why not? Okay. The examiner is not there to judge you. Okay, sure. So now you want to get into the meat of your response, right? Focusing on the cue card. So at this point, use your notes and the cue card to give a complete and clear response. Okay? All right. Good. Sanjay says, I have a large friendly circle, but my childhood friend Ram is extremely creative who works in an NGO. Okay, Sanjay, that's a different topic. Careful with that. And also, Sanjay, be specific. If you say, I have a big friendly circle as your first phrase, it's confusing for the examiner. It's like, what are you talking about? We need to talk about a creative person. The faster that you can let the examiner know that you're going to talk about a creative person, the better it is, okay? The cue card is talk about a creative person. So you want to say a creative person who I know. In fact, students, a very good tip or trick for part 2. Let's call it a trick, if you will. So trick for high scores on part 2 is to include the topic keyword in the first 5 words of your response. Okay, so think about it like this. Talk about a creative person whom you know. And then a creative person that I have known. Okay? So it's like, talk about a creative person that I have known. Start that way, okay? That shows the examiner that you got the topic, you're focused, and you're going to give an original answer, Okay. Okay, and accurate. All right, everybody good on that? So you want to start that way. All right. Okay, Rajveer, very good. Rajveer says he works really hard and organizes at least 3 events each week because of his quick creative thinking skills. Sure. So he works really hard and organizes at least 3 events each week due to his quick and creative thinking skills. Okay, good, Rajveer. There we go. You're using the notes right away. Nice. Keep going. Sanjay says, a creative person, in my case, is none other than my childhood friend Ram, who works in an NGO. Sanjay, much better start. Yes, Sanjay saying, is this okay now? A couple of spelling mistakes there, Sanjay, but yes, a much better answer. Absolutely. Thumbs up. Good job. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Keep giving me more information. Remember your planning. Right? So remember your notes as well. Okay. What the event planner does, think about your visualization. So maybe planning your cousin's wedding. Nancy, theme-based. It's very good as well. All right. Here are notes. Creative, theme-based, Western, Disney, aquatic, good listener, optimistic, popular, problem solver, organized. Okay, give me some full sentences. All right. I can do it. I can give it to you, but I want you to do this. All right, I want you to give me some answers here. Okay, I'll help you along, and then hopefully you'll do the same. Okay. All right. So whether he is planning a birthday, wedding, anniversary, or a corporate function, he always surprises the guests with amazing music, dancing, food, and fun activities. Okay, so something like that. Notice this use of whether or. Okay, the correlative conjunction. Right? Very good, Nancy. Let's take that. So Nancy says he is among the most popular planners in our city and has 5 out of 5 stars on his social media reviews. With many comments praising him for his creative ideas. Okay, good, sure. Now, so I took what you wrote there, Nancy, and I changed it a little bit to make it flow with my response here. And then, of course, make sure to always give an example. So examples are very useful, all right? Last year, he organized my cousin Parneet's wedding. He made the event theme-based, whereby it was based on Disney characters. And guests were dressed as princes and princesses. Okay. This made the event really fun and memorable. Okay, I'm just making that up, right? But we can visualize a wedding where it's theme-based and people are dressing up like Disney characters for the event. Maybe for the reception, okay? All right, good. We're moving along nicely. It's visual. It's emphasizing creativity. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, okay, so it's very, very important that we answer all the questions on the cue card. You must answer all questions on the cue card. So look at the card. Okay. A lot of people, they run out of ideas. They forget they have their notes. They forget they have the cue card. They freak out. They panic. Don't be one of those candidates. Okay. Okay, Baljit says he recently organized my friend's wedding, like Queen Victoria's son, and it was amazing. Like a royal wedding. Sure. Okay. Nancy says he is well known for his theme-based parties such as Disney, Bollywood, and the best part is he can arrange them even in the last minute, which shows his dedication. Good. All right. Nice. So we look at the card, right? We cannot forget about the card. Who is this person? So let's see. Talk about a creative person who you know. Check. We've talked about that, okay? Who is this person? Check. We've talked about that. What kind of art or activity does the person do? Check. We've talked about that. Why do you think they are creative? Kind of talked about it, so I'm going to put a dot there. What have they created in the past, and what do you think they will do in the future? This one we talked about, but this part here in the future, we haven't really talked about. Okay, so let's do that, right? We can do this together. Write some sentences that explain why he is creative, and write some sentences about what do you think he will do in the future. I will do the same, and then we'll compare it. Maybe I'll even take something that you write. So I think that Paras is so creative, not only because he is talented, but also because he has finished art school at one of the best universities in India. And he has been inspired by his father, who is an engineer, and his mother, who is a singer and songwriter. Okay, I am totally just making that up, but you can think about it in the sense of a creativity being talented, being learned, and being inspired. Okay? Singer, songwriter. I believe that Paras has every chance to be a world renowned event planner, making lots of money organizing events for celebrities around the world, like actors and politicians. In fact, I heard recently that he landed a project organizing Johnny Depp's next wedding. Just making it up, right? You never know. All right. Okay, so that's how I would finish, all right? Making sure that I answer all of those questions. Now, I can conclude this to show the examiner that I have finished my response, okay? So, there is no doubt in my mind that Paras is an incredibly creative individual. And I'm fortunate to call him my friend. Okay, so that would be my connecting, or not connecting, but concluding sentence, telling the examiner that I'm done. I've answered all the questions. I think I paid attention to all parts of the cue card, and I'm ready to go to part 3. Okay, Baljit says he recently organized my friend's wedding like Queen Victoria. Yes, we got that one. Nancy says he wants to be the best in the country, and I'm sure he will do it in time with his hard work and dedication. Yeah, and again, Nancy, and this is for everybody, it's good to use the words in the questions, okay? So, when the question says, what do you think they will do in the future? Answer that as specifically as possible. So you can even say in the future. In the future, I think that Paras will. And then the examiner is very clear that you're answering that question, okay? It's very important that you answer all the questions on the cue card. Okay, students, let's take a look at this. Now, this is speaking, so you want to speak and repeat. So copy after me and speak after me, or read with me if you must. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. A very creative person that I know is my friend Paras, who works as an event planner. He is 27 years old, of average height and build. He has curly black hair and a friendly smile. He always dresses well, whether for work or pleasure. He works really hard and organizes at least 3 events each week due to his quick and creative thinking skills. Whether he is planning a birthday, wedding, anniversary, or corporate function, he always surprises the guests with amazing food, music, dancing, and fun activities. He is among the most popular planners in our city and has 5 out of 5 stars on social media reviews, with many comments praising him for his creative ideas. Last year, he organized my cousin Parneet's wedding. He made the event theme-based, whereby it was based on Disney characters, and guests were dressed as princes and princesses. This made the event really fun and memorable. I think that Paras is so creative not only because he is talented, but also because he has finished art school at one of the best universities in India. And he has been inspired by his father, who's an engineer, and his mother, who is a singer-songwriter. I believe that Paras has every chance to be a world-renowned event planner, making lots of money, organizing events for celebrities around the world, like actors and politicians. In fact, I heard recently that he landed a project organizing Johnny Depp's next wedding. So there's no doubt in my mind that Paras is incredibly creative, and I'm fortunate to call him my friend. Yeah, exactly, Baljit. So Baljit says, in future, I think famous people will hire him for weddings and parties. Exactly. Okay. All right, students. Let's practice this for real. So you can volunteer. Let's do some volunteering to speak with me, and you can do this by going to the website. Now, I will be looking for members, but other viewers who are here, if we don't have members volunteering, can do this as well. So to volunteer for speaking, you want to go to our website, aehelp.com. Okay. And you can join our premium IELTS course by clicking this big red button there that's just above my head. Or you can just use this speaking for free by clicking that green try demo button, which is also above my head right there. Once you do that, you have a My Student account. In your My Student account, enable your microphone. You'll see our computer-based practice exams, interactive course, a lot of the materials that we use for these live classes. And then you will also see the student partner speaking. Boom, right there. Again, right above my head. The yellow button is if you want to book a speaking interview practice with me. But for now, we'll click the blue button here. Okay. Click that you accept and that you want to start speaking, and then you will be in a new interface here. And you'll see Shubham, Son, Islambek, Baljit, Sanantha. So you see people joining in to want to speak. And then you can send me a message to Master. Click the blue envelope and say, I want to volunteer, or I want to try. And we have Sun volunteering. So while some of our members decide that they want to volunteer, I think Sunantha and Baljit are the two members I see in here right now. Although I don't always know who's who, because I know we have several hundred members. So if you're a member, you should let me know in the chat. You should say, I'm one of your members. I'm just not chatting in the chat. And then you can volunteer. Let's see if Sun is here. Sun has said they want to volunteer. So Sun, sure. Are you ready to give this a go? All right. Baljit wants to give it a go too. All right, Baljit, you're coming up next, so hang in there.
Sir?
Hi, Son. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm very excited because I haven't been volunteer for months, I believe.
Okay. All right, you're back in the game, as they say. Son, if I remember correctly, you're in Vietnam, right?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Okay. And have you been using lots of English, even though you're not volunteering?
Recently, school have just started for me, so I don't have too much time to practice as I used to do.
All right. Well, now is your chance, Son. So I'm going to go back to the cue card here, and I will start you off. Give me a nice full sentence answer, and then I will give you a band score estimate and some feedback, okay? If you'd like, you can talk about the same kind of idea that we practiced, so an event planner, or you can come up with a completely different idea. It's up to you, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so the cue card is on the screen. Talk about a creative person whom you know. You have 1 minute to prepare your answers. You can take notes in this time if you wish. You have your note paper and your pencil. Okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
So a creative person that I know is none other than my father, John, who is an experienced architect. He is a middle-aged man, uh, one 80 centimeter tall, and he has a very unique signature brown mustache. He always wears a dark suit at work. The reason why his name popped up onto my mind is because he is an open-minded person. I mean, he always read the newspapers and articles to expand his perspective and get to know other people's point of view. And he also loves to internalize the new ideas and learning others people mistake. And of course, he is very creative. He always thinks outside of the box to generate extraordinary idea. His job is to design architecture, and he is currently the chief architect in a teams that have been designing very unique architecture. And the most impressive one is the bridge uh, that is designed for both pedestrians and other vehicles like cars and motorbikes to somewhat solve traffic congestion. He also created a draft on a building that harnessed the power of the sun. Um, and uh, There was renowned as one of the most creative plan, as he had even won an award for it. Um, in the future, I think he may design some kind of accommodation like apartments or hotels to serve the growing population. And uh, I wish I could be as creative as him.
Okay, your time is up. I will stop you there. And we will now go on to part 3. For this part, I will ask you some questions related to your response. That was fantastic. Son, that was really good. First of all, congratulations on really paying attention to the strategy that I was teaching in this class. So you answered the question right away. You said, so a creative person that I know is none other than my father, John. I liked your use of none other, by the way. That was a good piece of vocabulary there. You had some really nice vocabulary. I would say that's an easy 7.5 in my books. Some examiners might even score you as high as an 8. Some maybe a little bit lower, a 7, but it's definitely that 7 to 8 range. Okay, it's very, very good. I think if you take out a couple of confusing, awkward sentences that you had a little bit later on, it could be an 8, as high as an 8. Okay. So you did a good job describing what he looks like. Okay. You have a fairly tall father, 186 centimeters. And I really like the when you said he has a unique signature mustache. So I kind of, maybe it's completely different, but I had a picture of your dad kind of being like this and then having this kind of like curly mustache going on, like a kind of like up like this, like different from mine type of thing. So so that was very good. It was descriptive, and lots of unique words throughout your response. You used some nice idiomatic language as well, like you said, thinks outside the box, which was really good. Thinking outside the box is basically an idiom that means creative thinking, so that was really good. And then you said an example. You said the most impressive one is the bridge that he designed for both pedestrians and vehicles to solve traffic congestion. After that is where it got a little bit awkward. I think you were searching for more details and more information in your head, and then you made a few mistakes with your grammar and language, like You said this sentence, he is renowned as one of the most creative plan, as the one who worked for it, and it was a bit confusing there. So when you have such a nice answer, Son, in part 2, you can slow down a bit to look at your notes and to think a little bit more before you speak so you don't make mistakes. Think about it like this: like when you have good English, you have good ideas, then and you're speaking fluently, it's easy to kind of go and then start kind of tripping up on your own ideas and words. It's like a person who's running really well, really fast, and then they kind of start tripping on their own feet. Do you know what I mean by this?
Yes, sir.
Am I making sense? So when you're running really fast and you're running really well and your feet start to kind of trip on themselves, so your ideas in this case, slow down a little bit and then just maybe say something like, and then you realize that, okay, I have to talk about what he will do in the future. So here you said the most impressive one is the bridge that he designed for both pedestrians and vehicles to solve traffic congestion. This bridge is located on the outskirts of Hanoi and looks like a large leaf. Okay, so something about the creative appearance of the bridge, okay, or a spider web or something like that, okay? So, and you can slow down to think about this, okay? And then you said in the future, he may design some hotels and other large buildings to solve the or serve the growing population of the city. Overall, very good though. And then you concluded. So I think that, overall, Son, that was very, very good. You just have to pay a little bit more attention to some grammatical mistakes and some language use mistakes. Always record your speaking, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, Son, keep up the good practice. Don't give up on it. English is one of the most valuable skills that you can have. So definitely come back and volunteer again. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Have an awesome rest of your day, Son. Bye for now.
Goodbye, sir.
All right. That was a very good answer by Son. Give Son a thumbs up. He really paid attention to that good structure, and I think that all of us can agree that it was quite well structured, so it was easy to follow with his response. All right, Baljit, I can see that you are waiting patiently, so are you ready? Baljit, yeah, Amra, thank you for those thumbs up. That was really good by Son. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Baljit. How are you?
I'm doing great, sir. What about you?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. Any plans for the weekend, Baljit?
Not so far. I think I'm going to read some books and I will do my English reading and improve it.
What are you reading these days?
I'm reading The Power of Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, if you learn some interesting tricks or tips in the book, do let us know. It sounds very interesting.
Yeah, sure.
All right, Baljit, so cue card part 2, you have been in the lesson from the beginning. You can choose to answer similarly as to what we practiced or give a completely different answer based on some of the ideas earlier. Up to you. I will start you off. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, sure, sir.
All right. This is where you can say ready as I'll ever be, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here we go. So, talk about a creative person whom you know. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
My friend Lovedeep is loaded with creativity. He is superior at drawing. He is fairly 5 feet 11 inch tall, and he has curly hairs, and I hardly think that he combs it. He usually wear comfortable clothes, not only around the house but in his college also. He just turned 25 this year. He is very hardworking and creative as well, because he spends around 3 to 4 hours a day doing his painting work and drawing work, uh, usually at the home. He has completed his master degrees in a well-renowned university from India, and that's why he's perfect at drawing. He has recently completed drawing in aesthetic arts. It is kind of abstract arts, and he uh, well recognized in nation because he got the third number in the college competition, and that was also his dream to become a famous in art and drawing. So in future, I think I will see him in uh, more better competition, more competition in around the world, because he will be recognized internationally, related to his uh, artwork and paintings that he creates.
Okay, your time is up. I will stop you there. And
Okay.
we will now go on to part 3. For this part, I will ask you some questions related to the topic of part 2. Please put the note paper and the pencil to the side. Okay, that was really good. You always know that you have good fluency when I can't keep up with my writing. So I can write almost at the slow speed of speaking. And you were definitely faster than that. So I couldn't write down everything. But I got some of what you said. Right off the bat, Baljit, that was good. You're really improving, and you're becoming much faster at making up information and expressing it with fairly good English. Your grammatical range and accuracy was easily a band 7. Your pronunciation was a 9. Your vocabulary was about 7. So overall, with fluency and coherence, I would say that you got a 7.5 there for sure. Okay. And you're getting closer and closer to the 8. So this was teetering on 7.58. You also had great structure, like Sun did. Both of you did a great job of answering the topic question of the card right away. So you said, my friend Lovedeep is loaded with creativity. Nice use of natural language. You said he is superior in drawing. He is 5'10", and then you said he hardly combs his hair. So he's got this kind of messy artist hair, and I visualized that. So Sun did a good job of the unique mustache, and you did a good job of this hardly combed hair. I thought that was really great. And then you said he's hardworking. He spends 3 to 5 hours per day doing his drawing work, doing his painting work. That's okay. A more natural English, Baljit, is just 5 hours per day drawing and painting. So we wouldn't say doing painting. We would just say painting as the verb, right? So okay. Drawing and painting. And then you said that's why he is perfect. He recently completed drawing in aesthetics. He's doing some kind of abstract art. Great vocabulary. Aesthetics means beauty. It's the science of beauty. It's connected with creativity. Abstract art, nice vocabulary. That's why you're getting a band 7. You're using these. It's abstract art related to creativity. Then you said he recently got... It wasn't third place. It was a little bit unnatural the way you said it in some art competition. But what you wanted to say is that he got third place. So he recently got third place in an art competition.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's great. Now, when we're speaking, we're also being creative. We're creating clear story or picture for our listener. And the better we can make that, the better band score we get, the better we are at communicating. So I'll tell you
Yeah.
what I felt was missing to make this an even better response.
At the end, I was kind of lost in my speaking.
Sure. So you said it's kind of an abstract art. Okay. Um, what is it? So can you, even if you have to make it up, so what is this abstract art that your friend Love Deep created?
He created like a picture of a tree. Mm, but when we look uh, it from closer, then it looks like a tree. But when we take a look from far, then it looks like a girl.
Okay, so he created a tree, but when we look at it from further away, it looks like a woman. In fact, it's just
Illusion.
lots of small green lines. Okay. Sure. So describe that abstract art, and you don't have to make it complicated. You can just say something like, it is a lot of different colored lines, but when a person looks at it from far away, it really looks beautiful, right? So
Yeah.
you can simplify it. You don't have to, get fancy or make it really difficult for yourself. You can even just say it's a big blue circle, but for some reason it is amazing, right?
Yeah.
So what is that abstract art? Because when you tell me that, it's abstract art, the first question as your listener in my head is like, what is it, right?
But
What is it?
yes, yes, sir.
So it's those kinds of details, right? And then you said in the future you will see him in more competitions. That's
Yeah.
okay, but when I think about an artist who does paintings and drawings, then if I think that they're really creative, where will I see their work?
I don't know actually.
Well, where do we see painting? Yes, you do, Baljeet. Where do we see paintings usually that are
Art
famous?
exhibitions,
Art exhibitions and where?
museums,
And
and and
galleries.
galleries. Yeah.
Art galleries, right? In museums, art galleries, and exhibitions. Okay. Yeah, so competition's okay, but keep your thoughts simpler, right? Art, where do we see art? In a gallery, okay? So simple thoughts, right? And then you're picking up even more vocabulary and lexical resource marks, all right?
Yes. No, I won't forget it.
Yeah, nevertheless, Baljeet, you're definitely in the right direction. So I know sometimes you've told me in the past that you feel like you're not improving, but you're definitely improving. I can guarantee you, okay? So
Yes.
keep it up.
Last couple of days I have been not practicing because I was under the weather. I just speak to you today.
And that's fine. Sometimes it's a good idea to take a break and then, get going again. All right, Baljeet, keep it up. Keep up the practice, and we'll talk again soon, okay?
Yeah, sure, sir.
All right. Bye, Baljeet.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
All right, so wonderful answers by both Sun and Baljeet. Amra, thanks for the thumbs up. Rajveer, that's right. Art galleries, you got it. So students, notice how when you have this structure, right? So in our example, I talked about an event planner, or we talked about an event planner. Sun talked about his father, an architect. Baljeet talked about Love Deep, an artist, friend. We all had different answers, but we all followed the same structure. Answering the question directly, little bit about the appearance, and then Personality backed up by actions relating to the questions on the cue card, and wonderful answers that all get high band scores. It makes sense. Everybody who's watching, I'm sure, is like, yeah, I understand that. And that was a very clear answer for that cue card. That's exactly what the examiners are looking for in part 2. Everybody got that? Yeah? Okay. All right. Sunantha. Let's do one more here. Sunantha is one of our members, I believe. Hi, Sunantha. Are you ready? Okay. All right. And we will have part 3 coming up soon as well today. So hang in there in about 30 minutes, and we'll do lots of volunteering for that as well.
Hello,
Hi, Sunantha. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, sir?
I am doing excellent. Sunantha, have you been watching the whole class?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so you have a good idea of what's going on. All right, Sunantha, so I will start you off on this cue card. And again, just like with Baljit and Sun, you can choose to answer using what we practiced today earlier with an event planner, or you can make up your own answer. Up to you, okay?
Okay.
All right, I will start you off. So here we go. Talk about a creative person whom you know. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. Okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
A very super productive person that I have known. He is my colleague. He Wolof. He worked as a graphic designer. He is very optimistic person because even he is a disabled person, but he can't help others and very friendly. He is very super productive in his career because many projects event many projects need his help. He can create many events, a lot of projects amongst people. The first one that director required that his ability, he can build a lot of projects such as open house project, 50th anniversary in my office, and New Year's parties event. And he can create a theme and even decide project, decide all of the theme or project. And even
Okay, your 2 minutes is up. I will stop you there, and we will now move to part 3. For this part, I will ask you some questions related to the topic of part 2. All right, Sunantha, great effort, and you've got some good ideas. However, you need to put them together a little bit better, a little bit more accurately, with more detail. Okay, so this response would get you about a band 5 on the Ielts, mostly because I'm not hearing a clear answer to the question. So the first and biggest problem with the response, Sunantha, is you didn't clearly address the topic of creativity. You were kind of talking about creativity, and you used the word create, but it wasn't clear from the beginning. So as the examiner, I'm not sure if you understood the card well in this case, because you said a super productive person who I have known. And then you said he's optimistic. And then you said he is productive in his career because. So it sounds like you're thinking about a person who is very productive instead of a person who is very creative. And productive and creative are not the same. Okay? So my first advice is use the same word. So when the key word in the question is creative, okay, then in your answer, use the same word. Don't even try to paraphrase it. And this is for everybody. You can paraphrase it later, like what Sun did with the expression think outside the box. So you can paraphrase it later on. But for the first sentence, for the very beginning, use the word creative. Okay. So a very super creative person whom I have known is my colleague. What is his name?
Wallop.
Can you spell it?
WONLOP.
One row. Okay.
Yeah,
Given
I think I explained a lot about event, but I cannot answer the whole question. Like I hope he will be the first disability who is very much in creativity career
yeah,
and
so
inspire others.
you have to be, yes, exactly. You have to be careful not to make it too personal. So I know that you work with people with disabilities, and that's amazing. In the IELTS, however, make sure that you focus on the question, right? So don't make it about a person with disabilities being creative necessarily, but make it about a creative person. And if you're telling me that he is disabled, then maybe include some details about his disability. So he can only use his right hand, and he is still able to draw amazing pictures using only his right hand. I know some disabled people who are very famous draw with their feet, right? So tell me a little bit about that. Explain how that is related to his creativity, right? So give details and make sure that you're focusing not just on the fact that he's disabled, but on the fact that he's creative, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So keep up the good practice, Sanantha, and really focus on the topic. It's one of the most common mistakes by all IELTS candidates is they don't target the question specifically. Okay? So make sure to practice that in the future. All right, Sanantha, thank you so much for volunteering, and I hope you have you're very welcome. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Bye.
All right, that was Sanantha. So an important wisdom there for the IELTS. Target the topic of the question. All right, Sansar, Mohammed, Valaishak, and Tara, I saw you volunteer a little bit earlier as well. Don't go too far. I will be back in 30 minutes with Speaking Part 3. And Speaking Part 3 will continue on the topic of creativity, talking about creative individuals. So until then, you can check out our website, aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. We use our websites, again, students, for the live speaking. We will use it in the next class also. We'll have lots of volunteers in the next class. And we use our general IELTS website materials as well, the practice exams. So make sure to click those big red buttons that are just above my head there to join the premium package. Again, it's a one-time payment, well worth it. Members, thank you so much for your participation and support. It was lovely to see you in the class, Rajveer. Always a pleasure to have your English contribution. Nancy, great ideas. Sanjay, Baljeet, awesome effort. So hopefully I will see everybody back here. Next class is an all-chat class, so everybody will be able to join in on the chat. communicate. I will take random volunteers and we'll pick it up from there. I'm Adrian, and I'm signing out for a short 30 minutes, and then I will be back. Bye for now.